Hello everyone, my name is Sapana Kumari, student teacher of Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida, and today we are going to learn a very interesting subject, that is geography. And in geography we are going to learn a very important chapter of geography. Okay students, if I'll ask you to represent, have you ever seen a globe? You must have seen, right? So if I'll ask you to please represent an area, to identify an area on the globe, what you will identify? You will able to identify the continents, right? The land masses and the water bodies. Although, okay. And if I'll ask you to find out the area of your house, will you able to do it? No, you will not be able to do it. For that purpose, what we use a map. So today we are going to read a very important chapter of geography, that is map. Alright, okay. Okay students, so today the chapter we are going to study is a map, right? You have already seen a map. This is the picture of the map. If I ask you what do you understand by map, will you able to define it? No. So that we are going to study in the chapter. We are going to learn the definition of map. We are going to learn what is the difference between globe and map, and we are going to learn what are the various types of map are there, and we are going to learn that how we read a map, right? Okay. So, if I'll ask you the definition of map, what will you say? You will say that it is a representation of the land masses or the earth's surface on a flat sheet of paper. That is a map. So, what is a map? Map is a representation of the land masses or the earth's surface on a plain sheet of map is map, right? Okay, if I'll ask you what do you understand by a globe? So you have already studied in your chapter that it is a globe is a miniature of the earth. So what is represent? It represents the whole earth. And so if I ask you what is the difference between map and a globe, so what will you say? You will say that in a map, what we represent? We represent a specific area on a single sheet of paper or a plain sheet of paper, right? And if I'll ask you what is a globe? Globe is a miniature of the earth, and in a globe what we study, we can study a various thing in one segment, right? It is specific and it is map is specific and globe is for every land masses, water bodies, for every country and every state, right? Okay, so now we are going to study the types of map. So there are basically three types of map. The first one is physical map. So have you ever seen this map? You must have seen. So in the physical map, what we study the physical features of the earth, right? Like here it is written that a map shows the natural features of the earth such as mountain, plains, rivers and everything, right? So physical features से आप क्या समझते हो? Physical feature is basically the features, the main landforms of the earth, right? That we represent through the map, which is a physical map. So आप ये नाम से भी relate कर सकते हो that in physical map what we study the physical features of the land surface, right? So this is the physical map. It does not shows the any boundaries. It just shows the physical features of any area. And if I ask you to represent a state or a country or a area having the boundaries, so for that what we use a political map. So you can see over here, so it is a political map where we represent a state, we can represent a village, where we can represent a city or a town. So for that purpose we use a political sort of map. So what is a political sort of map? Political map shows the cities, towns, villages and different areas of the earth, right? And the third map that we have is thematic map. So have you ever gone to a party जिसमें themes होते हैं? We go to a party ना, like we go to Halloween party. So what we have, what the Halloween is? The Halloween is the theme of the party, right? So thematic map is basically what? It depends on the certain themes. Like if I want to represent a area having the highest rainfall or low rainfall, for that what type of map I will use? Yeah, I will use thematic map. If I want to represent an area having the forest area or the road map or water bodies, so for that type of map, we can use a map. We can use a thematic map. So thematic map is a map which focus on a specific themes like road map, rainfall map, map showing the forest distribution or industrial area, right? Okay. So there are basically three components of the map. So the first one is distance, direction and symbol. So what is a distance? So distance is a gap between one point to the another point. The gap between them 2 points is distance, right? So if I'll ask you how we can represent a such large area on the map, such large area of the earth surface on a single sheet of paper. So for that purpose, what we use a scale. So for that, what we represent it is a ratio between the earth surface and the area represented on map. So what is the distance? It represents the area. It is a ratio that represents the area of the land surface and the ratio between the land surface and the area represented on the map, that is a distance. Okay, so I have already told you that it represents the ratio between the land surface and the area on the map, right? So for that purpose, what we use a scale. So there are basically two types of scale, large scale and small scale. Okay, if I tell you that if I want to represent a large area, okay, for that purpose, what I can use? We can use a map which is a small scale map. Why small scale map? Because we are representing a large area on taking the small unit, right? If I want to represent a 5,000 kilometer area on the map, so for that I am using 5 centimeters. So what is 5 centimeter? It is reduced to a very small scale, no? For that reason, what we use a small scale map. So it's very simple to understand that if I want to represent a large area, so for that purpose, which scale I am going to use? I am going to use a scale that is a small scale, because the area is large and we are going to reduce the scale of the area. So that is why we use a small scale map. And if I want to represent a small area on a map, so for that purpose, which scale I am going to use? I am going to use a large scale map, because I am going to represent a small area on a large number, right? Suppose I am going to represent a area of a city, so for that purpose, what I am going to use? I am going to use a large scale map. Like I want to represent a 50-100 kilometer area on a 5 centimeter scale in the map. For that purpose, what we use a large scale map. So small scale map is basically for the large area and large scale map is basically for the small area, because we reduce the scale, right? Okay, then we come to the direction. So we already know that there are basically 4 directions: north, south, west and east, right? And there are also this direction, you must have heard: northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. So what they are the intermediate directions, right? So these are the main direction: north, south, east, west, and these are the intermediate directions. So on the map you have been seen that there is a symbol, like there is a symbol like this. You must have seen this symbol on the map. So what this symbol represents? It represents the north, that the area, this symbol represents the north on the map. You must have been seen in the map. So whenever you see this symbol anywhere on the map, so that area represents the north side, right? And in the map, what we use all the sides: northwest, southwest, southeast, southwest, northwest. Okay. So this is the direction. So there are basically 4 directions. That is, one is the cardinal direction, the main direction northwest, east, south, and the intermediate direction that is northeast, southeast, southwest, and northeast. Okay. Okay. So next thing that we are going to study is the symbol. You know what is symbol? That we represent through a sign or any article, right? If I'll ask you, when you were the kid, what we do? We use different symbols to represent different things, right? If I'll ask you what is the symbol of ice cream, what you will do? You will start making the symbol of the ice cream, no? So if I ask you what do you understand, how will you represent the ice cream? What you will do? You will make this. This is the symbol of the ice cream. Is it a real ice cream? No. So this is the symbol. For map also, what we use a different type of symbols. Okay. So these are the different types of symbols that you have been seeing in the maps. Like if you see here, if I want to represent a metal road, what I will use? I will use this symbol. If I want to represent an area which is having an unmetal road, I will represent this. Okay. If I want to represent a railway track on an area, I will represent this. And if I want to represent a railway with the station, I will represent with this sign, right? So these are the basically symbols which is common for all, right? Because it is a universal symbol that will be common for all. Like if I take an example, if in India, if we represent, suppose we represent temples like this, okay, on the map, and if I go to another place and they represent the houses in this way, so what it will create? It will create a very confusion. So these all symbols are universal in the whole world. We represent this. We use only these symbols to represent on the map, so that we can reduce the confusion. So it becomes very accessible for the people to go to places and read these symbols, right? Okay. Okay. So if I ask you, have you ever made a sketch? Sketch, you know, that we made in a drawing, right? So if I'll ask you to draw a sketch of your house, will you able to draw it? Yes, you will able to draw it. You will draw your room, your kitchen, your everything, right? But will you use any scale or anything for that? No, you will not use, because what is a sketch? Sketch is a rough sketch. You can see over here, this is the area which is having a park, a shop, a school. So this is the sketch of an area. Okay. And if I'll tell you to represent the exact direction, for that we use a plan. So what is the difference between sketch and a plan? Sketch is unplanned and it does not have any scale and it does not represent the exact location or the exact area. But when we use a plan, so what is a plan? Plan represents the area. It gives a lot of information about a certain area, small area, and we represent it in a planned way. Okay. So this is all about chapter map. Okay. So what we have studied today, we have studied what is a map, definition of map, difference between globe and map, and there are 3 types of map, and the uses of the map and the components of the map, that is direction, symbol and distance. Okay. So thank you so much for